Hey, everybody. Don't like that. Welcome to That's Good Sports podcast. I'm Brandon Perna here with @WillKey6 on Twitter, saying it at the beginning of the episode. So maybe you'll get some new followers, Will.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. We've got a lot to talk about today for the podcast. In Broncos news, everything from Emmanuel Sanders injury, CJ Anderson going to the Raiders, little Broncos 49ers preview. And then with the NFL news, also a lot. We'll try to jump into some of this Kareem Hunt stuff. Will and I we had an episode written for that, and it got longer and longer, and I just really didn't want to make it, so we'll try to jump into some of that. We'll get to our Defensive Rookie of the Year candidates as we see them, and maybe who has the best shot at winning there, and a bunch of picks for all of the games this week. And I think that's what we're going to talk about, right, Will?
Yep. No, I think you nailed it. I'm currently in the process of figuring out how to donate an Achilles. It seems a lot more violent and painful than I thought, but I'm going to do like the No Country for Old Men method of setting a car on fire outside a pharmacy and then just stealing a bunch of medical supplies and then do a little DIY in the bathroom and then mail my Achilles, hopefully clean and sanitary, to Emmanuel Sanders in time for the game on Sunday.
I thought you were going to say shoot yourself in the head with a cow killer.
Oh.
Cow prod killer.
It's another option. Well, that's for when Von Miller gets hurt. God forbid.
The cow prod. What do they call that
Trying
thing?
to find some wood to knock on. It's like it's on a cattle prod.
It's not a cattle prod, but it's like it's the thing they use to kill cows, right?
Yeah. It just like shoots like a little dart. It like sucks, like goes right in their brain and comes right back out. Yeah,
it's supposed to do it in a non-messy way, very quickly.
Correct. Big fan of cattle prods too. You ever seen that cattle prod scene from Casino?
Yeah, I think we've talked about watching Casino on this show before, even.
Well, we're gonna do a full Casino episode in the off season, so stay tuned.
Will and I's second favorite hobby, besides watching football, is watching movies and TV. So
it's true.
Pretty good well of knowledge there. But so Emmanuel Sanders, I mean, he tears his Achilles today at practice, running a route against air, nothing. He was just running routes so quarterbacks could throw some balls. So that's like one of those injuries you can't predict or prevent. It just sucks. Kind of like Chris Harris's injury in the game, the Bengals game, where I guess he has a hairline fracture on his fibula, and he could be back if the Broncos go to the playoffs, which now with those two injuries, like even if they go to the playoffs, you're missing your second best offensive player and your second best defensive player on a team that's already barely winning. Yeah,
not to mention you traded Demaryius Thomas. Not that I'm saying that was a bad trade.
No, but
Sanders got hurt now, but it just kind of compounds things at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, Demaryius Thomas could come in very handy right now for the Broncos.
Yeah, like if they have a receipt for that trade, they can just like kind of like if there's like a 7-day period, like GameStop or something, I might just, switch that pick back for a DT right about now.
Yeah, but even if they did, Bill O'Brien would not honor that. There's no way he would honor that receipt.
No, you're absolutely right. He wouldn't do that.
Bill O'Brien's like the type of guy who manages a restaurant, and even though the restaurant like fucks up really bad, he's not gonna give in. He's not gonna give you a free meal. He's not going to, comp you with a gift card or anything. He's gonna be like, no, well, don't ever come back here.
Yeah, no.
Screw you.
Bill Bryan's policy is the customer is always wrong.
Customers are always wrong. I'm always right. Get out of my house.
Yeah. Sir, this is a Wendy's.
I live here, goddammit.
So yeah, they placed a waiver claim on Andre Holmes, who just like freshly cut by the Buffalo Bills, I think yesterday or today. It'll be yesterday at least by the time you're listening to this. But yeah, the Bills cut Kelvin Benjamin and Andre Holmes. They decided probably because they don't have any jerseys that fit Kelvin Benjamin that they're going to take Andre Holmes. And I think it's the right move. He's a veteran. He's been around since 2012. He's got like 1,700 yards, 15 touchdowns in his career from Dallas to Oakland to Buffalo. So you could do worse for your fourth or fifth wide receiver.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess that's a decent pickup for the Broncos in a time of need. I think it's kind of weird the Bills cut two receivers, though, on the same day, especially like with their offense.
Yeah, and one of them was not Isaiah McKenzie.
Right. So the Bills, I mean, Josh Allen is the future. Isaiah McKenzie's making plays for him. And Jerry Hughes, you saw the Jerry Hughes video, right?
Yeah,
where
sure
he
did.
Said the ref called him a bitch and that he was going to come after him. Well, that referee has been put on leave by the NFL because apparently this isn't the first time he's gotten in trouble for talking shit and saying derogatory things to players.
Yeah, sure can't do that if you're a ref. I mean, like if I was like a 5'8", 120-pound ref, like most of them are, I would not be
basically.
Exactly. I wouldn't, and if I were you too, I wouldn't call Jerry Hughes a bitch behind his back or to his face.
Nope. I would be helping him up every play.
Yeah. Especially when you're just wearing like a baseball cap and he's got a helmet and shoulder pads on.
Yeah.
Seems like a bad move.
I'm surprised we haven't seen it more where like a player just goes off on a ref physically.
Yeah. No, and he like waited until like he clearly like tracked him down to find him in the tunnel because like God knows where the refs go after the game.
And then said he didn't remember. He didn't remember doing that.
I'm sorry, I just don't recall.
He's like, well, if it bought Kareem Hunt 9 months of time, I think I'll just play the same card.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that works. Got plenty of Kareem Hunt stuff to talk about. But another big item of news that's, I guess, tangentially related to the Broncos is our old friend, C.J. Anderson. We thought he was going to sign with the Chiefs, but he pulled a double cross and signed with the Raiders instead. I actually feel better about him a little bit going to the Raiders than the Chiefs.
Why is that?
I feel like he could have helped the Chiefs.
No, you're right. I think he could have helped any team at running back. And it's not like I don't think he's going to be this game breaker, this game wrecker, but he's a smart running back who will pick up the offense quickly. He's great in pass protection, and he's the type of guy who can come in, I think, and make a difference on your offense right away. I know he's from the Oakland area, and I know he's been working on building like this big it's like through his charity, this big like after school like sports center for like underprivileged youth in the Oakland area. It's like a huge thing, I believe. So I think it's cool. He'll be close to that. And I know like that stuff's like important to him now. If you follow him, I don't know, on social media, he's in like private jets all the time, taking like charity meetings and hanging out with the guy who founded YouTube and shit. So
yeah, not bad. Yeah, I mean, C.J. Anderson didn't have the greatest of seasons with the Panthers, but I think they're like 0-4 since they cut him. So I don't know what that says.
No, they didn't use him at all. That was the thing. Like,
they
just turned Christian McCaffrey into a 3-down back. So,
which I don't like. Maybe good this season, but I don't know if that's gonna be the best plan of attack 5 years down the road.
They won't care because 5 years down the road, they're not going to re-sign him. His rookie contract will be up, and they'll cut him loose anyway.
Yeah, they'll be on to one of his many brothers by then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who just won the state championship in Colorado.
Yeah. Imagine if, like, all of Phillip Rivers' kids end up being as athletic as Ed McCaffrey's kids.
That's a lot of potential.
I think most of them are girls, though, so we don't have to worry about them in the NFL.
No.
Yeah, they'll just be running like the WNBA.
Yeah, and tennis. Probably play tennis.
I can see it. Yeah, they just do like a weird like 3/4 serve, like their dad.
The sidearm would probably be more effective in tennis.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think there's a genetic advantage for him there.
Yeah. Also, just like getting mad at referees. Also, like Philip Rivers, but never cursing.
Yeah, Philip Rivers should have played tennis. Jesus.
Yeah, that referee that went after Jerry Hughes should have followed Philip Rivers' example.
If he
wasn't, that referee called me a big time baby crybaby. He called me
a big dang jerk.
A big dumbhead.
Big dumbhead dang jerk.
Cotton-headed ninny muggins.
That one sounded offensive somehow.
It yeah. Well, we all know I've been having this problem lately, so let's get on to the Broncos signed a cornerback because Chris Harris, we haven't talked about it either. He got hurt.
They said they weren't going to sign one too. Those lying fucks.
Liars. Yeah, I mean, Chris Harris says that he's going to be back by the Chargers game. I guarantee he won't be back if they are out of the playoffs by then.
Yeah, there'll be no reason for him to play.
Yeah, but everybody's been talking about, got the 49ers, the Browns, and the Raiders. So there's still a very good chance that game is going to be for playoff implications. But in the meantime, they've got Jamar Taylor, who they signed instead of Pac-Man Jones. Are you surprised a little bit they didn't just bring in Pac-Man after he's been here for half the season and knows the defense, obviously?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know who Jamar Taylor is.
Oh, funny you asked that. Well, let me find my notes. He's a second rounder from Boise State back in 2013.
Oh, Broncos love Boise State guys.
This is true. It's something about that blue field. Also, maybe the fact that they're Broncos. But he's got 3 picks. Well, his best season back with the Browns in 2016. He's played for the Dolphins, the Browns, and the Cardinals. His best season was in 2016. 3 picks, 13 passes defended on a very bad Cleveland team. So, for what it's worth.
So maybe they sign him because there's possibly a little bit more of an upside.
Yeah, I think so. Although it feels weird to take someone with upside rather than knowledge of the defense this late into the season. But I don't know. If it works out, it works out. Hopefully they get Tremaine Brock back soon, who's someone they didn't have against the Bengals last week.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, what's his injury status? I can't even keep track of all of their
corners. I can't keep track of the injuries. There's just too many. It's kind of weird. Like, we felt like I never brought it up at the beginning of the season because I felt like it was going to jinx the whole thing, but they didn't really lose anybody to injury during training camp, which is so weird.
Yeah, you always lose. Somebody tears their ACL the first day.
Yeah, usually.
Every team, they're just like, oh, shit, our first-round draft pick tore his ACL.
Correct. And then Jake Butt got hurt in week 4 or 5, and then the floodgates just went wide open.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at, too. Broncos have a new strength and conditioning coach this year. I don't know if that ever actually affects players' injuries.
Yeah, I don't know. People always say that, like they blame training staffs for injuries. I don't know, man. When you tear your Achilles just on air, I feel like that's just an act of God, basically.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame trainer. I don't think you can strengthen ligaments, unless there are vitamins or some shit that do it. You can strengthen muscles around them.
Yeah, well, there's vitamins in a way. You could ask, I don't know, Julian Edelman. He might know. There's special vitamins that you put in a syringe and then inject right into your ass.
Yeah, I think those help. I think those help ligaments heal faster. I don't know if they make them stronger.
Either way.
I'm also not a doctor.
Neither of us.
No, we should make that very clear.
Yes.
In case somebody thought That's Good Sports was a medical podcast.
Neither of us are doctors yet.
They said on that podcast, I could inject my ass and make my knees never get hurt.
Yep.
13-year-old football star.
Yeah. Local man rushes for 3,000 yards after injecting PEDs directly in the butt.
Yeah. I kind of want to take some PEDs just to see if
why not?
How they
next time I'm in Mexico, I'll pick up some for both of us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
And then we'll just put them in a bag and shake them up, and we'll each just take one and see what it does.
Yeah, how does it work? Do you just make a HGH smoothie out of it? Just drop it in the blender with some ice, like a banana and some strawberries, and
yeah, that way you get stronger and enjoy a delicious treat.
Yeah, both very important. See my door open.
You got ghosts in the background.
Oh, the dog just came right in.
Your haunted house of horrors.
Zip's got some takes on the 49ers game coming up.
Ooh, good.
He's telling me to talk about Kyle Shanahan. Because if you remember, the Broncos were close to hiring him back in 2017.
Wait, they were?
I mean, I don't know if they're close to hiring him, but he's one of the candidates.
They were. People haven't second guessed that decision every week since it's been made.
Well, here's the thing. If you asked that same question, who would you rather have? I know Kyle Shanahan hasn't had his quarterback for most of the time he's been there, outside of 8 games with Jimmy Garoppolo. But I don't think it's just not close anymore. It's Kyle Shanahan's gone 2-10 right now, or 2-12, I guess, with I don't know, not a good roster, but the pairing of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, it looks good on paper every year, for the last 2 years at least, and it just hasn't resulted in any kind of winning for the 49ers.
Yeah. Well, I guess, it didn't look good on paper last year until they made that trade for Jimmy Garoppolo and he started winning.
Yeah, but even then, things look good because it looked like they swindled the Bears out of that pick back in the draft, when they moved up one spot to take
and now, you're right. And now look at it I think Mitch Trubisky would be a good fit with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, no, exactly. And yeah, and you don't have to pay him like Jimmy Garoppolo, who's getting paid. He's one of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks in the league. And the 49ers ended up taking Solomon Thomas third. And, I don't watch every 49ers game, but I don't think he's the 3rd best guy on that defensive line. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's –
No, he's had a slow start to his career.
It's DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, and then Thomas is 3rd, I think, if that.
Yeah, I think the difference is the 49ers were at the bottom. The Broncos had a better team.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what Broncos fans are thinking right now. If they would still rather take Kyle Shanahan. I know the local media here has been switching their attitude and they're all starting to kiss Vance Joseph's ass. Dude, I don't know how much you listened to it, but this whole season it was, after the bad start, it was you got to move on from Vance Joseph. If not now, definitely once the season's over, and you got to ask if you should do it now. And then it got closer to mid-season. They still weren't winning. They're well, if you do it, who do you bring in? And now it's he's winning. He's doing what you want him to do. He's getting better. Your best option in 2019 is Vance Joseph.
Yeah. Should we give him 5 or 6 years on the extension?
Yeah.
I'm thinking 6.
Look, and I get it. Opinions should change as situations change, but it's just
they change very quickly.
Yeah. And nobody ever admits, I'm saying the exact opposite thing I said 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was dead wrong, and now I'm going to be dead right.
Dead right. Dead to right.
That's something that people say. Another important note on this game, this is the first non-preseason game at Levi's Stadium since Super Bowl 50, a game that
Ooh.
you and I were almost at.
Almost at. Well, we were almost. I was in the I was in Bennigan's parking lot, and
Bennigan's. I can't think of a worse place to watch the Super Bowl, to be honest.
I didn't even know that any of those restaurants still were in business, and I had to pay $100 to watch it in their tent in the parking lot.
They charged you $100 for like parking, or just to.
Well, they had this tent set up in the parking lot.
Uh-huh.
And they had the TVs in the tent, and you got their buffet, which was really not good.
It's a Bennigan's.
4 beers.
You could do worse.
But there was nowhere else to go.
Let's be real. 4 beers in the stadium would probably cost you $200.
Exactly. I could have went inside Bennigan's and not sat down ever, and probably eventually got kicked out.
I didn't do a lot of sitting when I was watching them in the Super Bowl anyway, so.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, no, not a great place to watch the game, but it's a good luck charm. So next time they're in the Super Bowl, you're going to have to go to Bennigan's.
That's right.
I think. But a couple actual football points about this game.
Sure.
So the one guy, there's 2 guys, I think, that the Broncos really have to key in on defense, and one of them is pretty obvious, and that's George Kittle. He's the only 49ers receiver that has even over 400 yards. He's got 893. No one else on that team has surpassed 400 yards. But their rookie, Dante Pettis, in the last 2 weeks, he hasn't been healthy the whole year, but he just came back, and in the last 2 weeks, he's got 206 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Dante Pettis.
Yeah. So one of the things about the 49ers is they're going to pile up yards, but they just don't like to score a lot of points.
That's perfect for the way the Broncos defense operates.
Yeah, no, it feels like hand in glove here.
As long as somebody eventually tackles the dude on the big pass play they give up, the Broncos, I feel like the Broncos defense in the red zone's really good. I don't think we've really talked about that or tried to look into that as a stat or anything this year, but they're definitely a bend, don't break, but sometimes we just bend so much that we break on the bend defense, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the 49ers, I don't think anybody's paid much attention to them. Their highlight of the season was Nick Mullins coming in on Thursday Night Football, playing really verified. Well. Yeah, getting verified on Twitter, smoking the Raiders. And then since then, he's been okay. Maybe good for a rookie, but, he's starting to make all the mistakes that you would expect a young guy to make, and definitely doesn't look like somebody John Elway should have traded for after that one hot win.
Yeah, no, he's kind of doing the opposite of Case Keenum. He's piling up a bunch of yards, but also throwing some picks and turning the ball over. And Case Keenum has turned into the guy that everybody expected him to be, I guess, in the offseason, which is someone that, is not throwing for a ton of yards, but he's making a couple of plays, and he's just not turning the ball over in the last few games, which is basically the Broncos have found the formula, and part of that is Keenum not turning the ball over, making a couple plays, i.e. the throw to Courtland Sutton against the Bengals, that long throw to Emmanuel Sanders against the Steelers, and limiting turnovers. And it's really helpful when you limit the turnovers to 0, which has been the case the last few weeks. And coincidentally, they're 3-0.
Right. The one thing that's also been helping the Broncos that they can't really control is the other teams have been turning the ball over a lot against them. Yeah. And that's been true the last 3 weeks. So luckily for the Broncos, the 49ers have that potential to be and, have 2 or 3 turnovers in this game. I don't know if the Broncos will necessarily need that to win, but I guess I thought they would have scored more points against the Bengals. But what I've learned about the Broncos offense is they play exactly the same no matter who the competition is. So whether the defense is great or terrible, they're only going to score 20 or 24 points. And you're right. As long as they don't make a turnover that gives the other team points, they can keep their opponent under 20 or right around 20. So I'm not too worried. Well, you never know. Losing Emmanuel Sanders and Chris Harris, I could see the 49ers winning this week just on one or two fluke plays that push them over the edge. But I don't know. Just keep giving the ball to Phillip Lindsay, and I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the thing to do. It feels like, the Sanders injury really hurts, obviously. If you're trying to look for the bright side on that, I guess the team gets an extended look at DaeSean Hamilton.
Yeah.
Which could affect whether or not they draft a wide receiver high in the draft this year. I guess it gives other guys like River Craycraft a little more of an extended look as well. But
Tim Patrick should get more targets. Yeah. And, in the win against the Bengals, Sanders only had 4 catches. You know what I mean? So
right. It feels like they can be successful without him as long as Courtland Sutton's playing well, because Sutton didn't play well against the Steelers, but obviously had a great game against the Bengals. So they really just need one wide receiver to have a good game, and they need Phillip Lindsay to go off, which, it's been working for the last few weeks.
It's been working. It should. I want to see Sutton get 12 targets. And early in the game, he dropped a pass. Also, Case Keenum missed some passes to him. Mm-hmm. So, I would like to see Case Keenum, maybe a little more accurate early and keep targeting Sutton to see if, he can be that guy who kind of controls the game as, a receiver, as, a Julio Jones type player where he's going to catch the ball, 90% of the time it's thrown his way, or they at least throw it to him 90% of the time and it looks like he had a great game, even if he really didn't.
Yeah, I also want them to work in the tight end more because I think
that disappeared last week, I felt like.
They targeted Matt Lacoste one time for 0 catches. So it feels like they need to find a way to work him in more. At least throw in that tight end screen that they do from time to time, or work in the play action, crossing route, something like that, just to get him going. Because it feels like once he's in the game and once he's active, good things tend to happen, in the Steelers game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of puzzling. As good as Phillip Lindsay's been playing, the offense should be scoring more points, and that should be opening up bigger plays for the wide receivers.
Yeah, I agree. The play action should be a lot more deadly than it has been recently. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe that comes in time. Maybe the Bengals are just so bad that they decided Phillip Lindsay's rushing for 50 yards a carry against us. Let's just not adjust to that and keep playing the pass.
Yeah,
so we just keep running it. Yeah, but I think the 49ers are probably a little smarter. Who's to say?
Before we move on to the NFL talking, I wanted to just bring up something because in the Bengals game, Emmanuel Sanders took a shot on the right sideline. He got hit pretty hard. It looked bad at full speed, and then the replay, it looked like a pretty clean hit. It also looked identical to when he was in St. Louis and he got fucking floored.
That was the hit that his Wikipedia said he died after that.
Yeah. And so those plays were similar, and I looked back at the St. Louis play, and that hit was way harder. If that happened in 2018, that guy would be drawn and quartered. It made me think oh shit, what the NFL has done is starting to work in that it's the opposite of desensitized. It's made us more sensitive.
It's just sensitized us.
Okay, sensitized.
Okay, college boy.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Mr. IQ off the charts, dude. But I looked at it and I was like, oh shit, that play is way worse. And then looked back at the Bengals hit and I was like, if you look at them both, you would never call that Bengals hit. But now during that game, I was like, oh, fucking throw the flag. And then I saw it again and go, that was actually a pretty good hit.
Yeah.
But the The St. Louis one, I was just like, oh man, this is really hard to watch over again.
Very. Oh yeah, that was hard to watch at the time. I don't know if I want to go back and watch it, but yeah, that would definitely not fly.
You got to hear it. You got to hear the sound on it.
Yeah, no, that's just like a car crash.
Which I guess I'll leave with my final point, unless you have something brilliant to say.
Nope, sure don't.
At first, I kind of blamed Vance Joseph for Chris Harris's leg injury.
Okay, yeah, you and everybody else on Twitter. Idiots.
Well, I mean, I didn't blame him for the injury at first, but during the moment, I was like, why did they accept the penalty, right? Like, why wouldn't you just force the fourth down there? Not because I was thinking your player had a chance of getting hurt, but because of the way the Broncos defense is played. Like, I could see the Bengals converting that 3rd and long. So I was like, when you have the 4th down, you just force them to play there. Then Chris Harris Jr. got hurt because of the penalty. But now I blame the referees for Chris Harris Jr.'s injury because they called such a weak block in the back against Will Parks. Like, the lineman kind of like just touches Will Parks in the back as he's falling down. Shouldn't have been blown as a penalty, which means Chris Harris shouldn't have been in on that play, which means he shouldn't have fractured his leg. So now I shift the blame to the refs, taking the heat off Vance Joseph.
Yeah, no, I'm always on board to blame the referees. It felt like they had a really bad week. The Bengals game was bad, I think, on both sides.
Yeah, I think each team got 3 shitty calls against them in that game.
Yeah, that's all you ask from the referees is if you're going to call it shitty, just call it shitty for everyone, you know? But I was pretty upset, actually, during that Sunday night game with the false start.
The false start that wasn't called?
Against the Chargers. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, the Chargers got lucky.
I'll say.
They had the false start call. They had the Steelers jumping off sides. And then I saw somebody said the center moved the ball on the snap to force the Steelers to jump on that kick. But also, Phillip Rivers threw an interception in the end zone that the Steelers
that turned into a Keenan Allen touchdown.
Yeah, so, not only was it not a pick, it was a touchdown for the Chargers. So I don't know if that game actually says that the Chargers are better than the Steelers.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
And the Steelers play the Raiders this week, so nothing will fix your problems like playing Oakland. I guess we're talking about NFL shit. Who are you going to take the Broncos to beat the 49ers?
Yeah, I'm going to take them.
Okay, me too. And then I'll have the prediction episode up Friday once I dive into that game with my football brain. And
Very good.
Really evaluate the important things.
Dig in with your football brain, your football shovel.
Yeah.
Dig a big old football hole.
And I include the 3 really good jokes that Will Keys puts in there.
4.
4.
Yeah.
Could be 4.
Maybe. Anyway, moving to the NFL. During that Monday night game, the heralded Monday Night Football crew of Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, and Booger McFarland went on probably it felt like an hour. They were talking about domestic violence in the wake of the whole Kareem Hunt thing and the Redskins bringing in Reuben Foster. So they talked about that for what felt like a third of the game. And meanwhile, ESPN, unbeknownst, I'm sure, to everybody on the crew, is promoting a Greg Hardy UFC fight in order to boost their streaming service, ESPN+.
Wow.
So if this isn't the most ESPN thing I've ever heard, I don't know what is.
Talk about hypocritical.
Yeah, I'll say.
And, I mean, the most interesting thing was that Mark Sanchez entered the game for Washington because Colt McCoy also broke his fucking leg. And the Washington's got to move forward with Mark Sanchez now.
Just like we all expected.
So, not a good time to be a Washington fan. The ESPN Plus Greg Hardy thing is bizarre. They classifying Kareem Hunt as what he did as domestic violence.
Yeah, it's incorrect.
It's also inaccurate.
It's not correct.
Reuben Foster, yes, that is. Washington should have they should be under a bigger microscope right now, I think, than the Chiefs and the NFL with Kareem Hunt, because I think his situation seems a lot more fishy. But then we learn there's been multiple incidents with Kareem Hunt. One, a verbal altercation, and then another supposed violent altercation outside of or inside of a nightclub. So
yeah, I heard he sent a person to the hospital.
Yeah, him and a group of guys allegedly, you got to say allegedly,
you don't want to get sued,
beat up some dude after the Chiefs lost in the playoffs. So
okay, I'm sorry, that's just the fact that you mentioned after they lost in the playoffs.
it was the night after. It was the night they lost. Like, the guys went out, and I think somebody was talking shit
just
about
in a bad mood,
and it escalated to a fight. So I think Kareem Hunt has some anger issues that need to be
you don't say.
And some decision-making skills that need to be worked out. I think the hotel situation is fucked from every angle. I think everybody involved in that situation fucked up. I think Kareem Hunt fucked up. I think the girl fucked up. I think the hotel fucked up. I think the Chiefs fucked up. I think the NFL fucked up. So,
did TMZ fuck up?
Well, if you want to build an empire on,
can you fuck up when your reputation's already at like a 1?
No, it's like the Raiders. Like, you can't put them down any lower. They're already there. That's TMZ.
It's like going less than 0.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we should be able to see shit like that. Like, I feel like that information, those videos, unless there's like a real need for the public to understand it for some sort of safety issues, which I guess you could argue if you're going to a club,
get into the First Amendment here, Brandon,
or a bar that has Kareem Hunt, but like there's no reason for any of us to see it. Like,
if I run into Kareem Hunt at a bar, which I don't know the odds about that, but if I do, I know I'm just turning right back out. Also, if I run into a bar with Patrick Mahomes, I think I'm leaving too, because that can't end well for me.
I know if I'm going to a bar, I'm bringing Jerry Hughes with me, and everything will be all right.
Oh, you want to talk shit? How about you talk to my friend Jerry over here?
Right. Jerry, that guy called you a bitch.
Let me at him.
So, and then the one last thing, like, Twitter was just complete outrage. Against
Twitter's the worst.
Against Kareem Hunt. Which, I obviously get. What he did was stupid and bad.
Yes, and wrong.
But then a day later, you see Steelers fans headbutting each other during the game, like a violent attack. And then Steelers Stadium, they are looking for a Steelers fan who choked a pregnant woman during the game. So
I didn't know Kareem Hunt rooted for the Steelers. Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. There you go. Fuck the joke up, Will.
Damn it.
But it's just like all this stuff kind of gets put under a microscope because most people aren't, violent assholes. But it's like people want to point their fingers at the players. But the fans are just as bad, and you see it almost every week of people fighting in the stadium. And then you have, like you pointed out, ESPN promoting Greg Hardy's UFC fight, a guy who is now getting paid to continue to be violent. So it's a weird fucking situation. Yeah,
the Greg Hardy, the fact that the UFC is even partnering with Greg Hardy at all feels just like this weird dystopian thing we've got going on in society. The fact that ESPN's in on it just obviously reeks of hypocrisy. It proves, I think, something that everybody knows already, but it just kind of furthers the idea that they really don't care. Like, they've become this political organization in the last few years, clearly out of opportunism. And they don't believe it at all. Otherwise, obviously, they wouldn't be doing this.
It's like the NFL. Like, it's all that matters is money. It's all that matters. It's all that ever matters. And if they think something's going to cost them money, then they'll apologize for it and they'll try to make up for it. The NFL tried to claim that they requested to see the Kareem Hunt tapes. They just said, we did request to take a look at it. And then I think somebody posted that they requested that November 30th or something, when they found out it was, going to be leaked or whatever the fuck, or after it was leaked.
Yeah. You think you could just actually give that to us instead?
Yeah. I don't know how the NFL doesn't hear about something like what happened to Kareem Hunt and say,
I don't believe that they do.
Let's get ahead of this. Instead, they're just like, we can sweep it under the rug. No, you can't. You're terrible at that. One thing you're not good at is hiding that stuff. The only thing you've been good at hiding was concussions.
Well, that and the alleged Des Bryant video that I've been waiting for since 2014.
Oh, what was that about again?
It's something in a parking lot in a Walmart that was supposed to be worse than Ray Rice that just kind of got forgotten about.
Yeah, the fact that Des Bryant was shopping at Walmart is pretty embarrassing.
Bad enough, yeah, bad enough. Maybe that's the only thing that happened. Maybe it's just him leaving a Walmart.
Multi-millionaire Des Bryant leaving Walmart.
Yeah, gets into an altercation with one of the customers, just goes up, hey, are you Des Bryant? Yes. Shopping at a Walmart? Yes. And that's it. That's the video.
It's all of it. No, it's just him using coupons for everything.
Yeah. This man shoplifted one whole bagel. Let's see. Just kind of to close out on this, but Twitter's the worst place in the world after something like this because
so reactionary.
Yeah, it's half of the people are just being well, Kareem Hunt didn't do anything wrong. And another half are oh, well, what's going to happen to my fantasy team? And the other half –
That's too many halves, but okay.
Ever heard of 3 over 2? Fractions. The other half is people the most – it's just a contest of people to see who hates domestic violence the most.
Right. Who's the most upset about it?
It's just someone just putting a fucking paperweight over the caps lock button and writing, you never put your hands on a woman under any circumstances. Dude, I know. Why are you telling me this?
I agree with that, but did that woman call him the N-word? That's something we don't get to know, and that's something that kind of makes the situation very murky and gray. You know what I mean? It's
we should point this out because I don't think this got, and on a very serious tone, I don't think this got talked about, but people have been comparing this to Ray Rice and Greg Hardy and Reuben Foster and everyone. And I think just isolating this incident alone, because we don't know about the other ones like we do with this one, and we don't even know everything about this one. I don't think, and this isn't a very safe thing to say sometimes. I don't think this is on par with the other ones.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's because, domestic.
I'll throw in Tyreek Hill too, as well.
Yeah, because those are all clear, I think, examples of a domestic violence situation where it's
right.
Two people.
Yeah, it's something that doesn't happen once. Clearly. Yeah,
this is drunk people out making bad decisions, and an altercation happened, which we see all the time. We saw it with Adam Jones before the season started, which. The other guy instigated, but Adam Jones punched a dude in an airport, and he was signed by the Broncos. Nobody thought too much about it. The other guy was arrested and charged. Police investigated this situation. Kareem Hunt was not arrested for what happened. I watched the body cam footage of the girl, and I felt bad for her, and I was like, oh, shit, I believe her. And then I watched the body cam footage of Kareem Hunt's friends. I'm like, fuck, I feel bad for them. I believe them. And then I'm like, who the fuck do I believe in this situation? I saw the video. Yeah, it looks bad, but it also just looks like a messy situation. Should Kareem Hunt be attacking anybody? No. I'm pretty sure if it were me in that situation, I would have ended up walking away more hurt than that girl because I am very fragile. If Kareem Hunt pushed a little man like me, my back would have went out, and you would have seen me not being able to walk off frame.
Another thing about this is the way TMZ framed this video, because obviously they wanted to make it seem like a huge bombshell thing because they want to get clicks, because that's
the name of the game.
They're in the business of clicks and getting people riled up and talking about it and clicking some more. And so they said that, Kareem Hunt attacks women, and they use the word brutalized.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that.
That's going to get people, people don't want to be like, well, it wasn't as bad as other people are making it seem because of that, because the tone's already been set. And now people are, like I said earlier, people are, battling each other out to see who hates violence
the most, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And at a certain point, you can't go back and be like, well, can we put this in the context? And I know it's not a good thing to
no,
we're not split hairs, but we can see with our own eyes, we can't put this on the same plane as other things.
No, this is different than Greg Hardy beating up a woman, throwing her onto a bed with assault with guns and telling her he's going to kill her. And it's different than Ray Wright knocking out his fiance by hitting her so hard, in an elevator. You bring up a good point in the way TMZ titled that, because if you see the word, Kareem Hunt brutalizes woman as a headline, you're already going into that article with the preconceived notion about what you're about to see. And you don't even have to watch it, and you're already going to be like, fuck Kareem Hunt. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, or you don't watch it at all, and you just go to Twitter and say, fuck Kareem Hunt.
Right. So it's and again, I wanted to talk about it Friday night. You and I started writing something about it, and then I went off on a tangent and went way longer. And then I wanted to wait to see if more information came out, which it always does. And then I just I didn't even want to fucking talk about it after that. But with Kareem Hunt's other incidents, that makes the whole situation different too. It makes the way I look at it different because then you're like, oh shit, he's got a pattern. This has happened, 3 times this offseason? There's something else going on here. But what I will say, do I think this should end his career forever in the NFL? No, I don't think so. I think he deserves a chance to right his wrongs. But now he has multiple wrongs to right and figure out. So we'll see what happens, I guess.
We don't know what's going to – it's just it's, what you get in trouble with, making a big, broad declaration he should or shouldn't have a chance in the NFL again, right after it happens. We just don't know. We really don't.
I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions. So
I would agree. I think – I don't know. We can probably skip over whether the Chiefs did the right thing or whatever, because it's been talked about. It's been
that's also my favorite Twitter person is, I applaud the Chiefs for moving swiftly. I applaud them for doing the right thing.
What a class organization they are. Yeah. Meanwhile, Tyreek Hill goes for 200 yards against the Raiders.
Yeah.
All right, but I think we've talked about this enough.
So we'll do a little rookie talk.
Yeah, let's talk about the rookies. So we've got a 4-way competition, I think, for Defensive Rookie of the Year. There might be a couple others that I'm leaving out. Maybe Denzel Ward, but I think he's kind of on the outside looking in at this point. But it feels like the big race is between Derwin James, safety for the Chargers, Leighton Vander Esch, linebacker for the Cowboys, Darius Leonard, linebacker for the Colts, and Bradley Chubb, pass rusher for the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
It feels right now that Leighton Vander Esch is going to win this because he plays for the Cowboys.
Yes, and we just put up a video about this where we talk about all this shit. I just read a thing, though, saying I don't know, some NFL analyst thinks it's a dead heat between Darius Leonard and Derwin James to actually win.
Interesting. I think he's underestimating the fact that Leighton Vander Esch plays for the Cowboys.
Right. No, and he's the only NFC player. Not that that matters, but I think maybe helps his chances a tiny bit. But we started this to write an episode because we did one about Phillip Lindsay, making a case for him to be Rookie of the Year. And then we were going to, plead our case for Bradley Chubb. But then looking at how well all of these guys are playing, I think it's kind of crazy because I think Denzel Ward's in the conversation, but he hasn't had a pick in 7 games. So he had like a super –
which it doesn't mean that like he's not playing well. It just means that people aren't going to pay attention to him.
Yeah, but he's given
the trouble with cornerbacks.
Right. He's given up 4 touchdowns, so he could get back into it with a couple multi-interception games, or if he has like a pick these last 4 weeks. But you're right, like there's 5 defensive players playing great, and I think Ward is at a disadvantage playing corner. But then looking like at what Derwin James is doing and what Darius Leonard's doing, and even Van Der Esch, like it's really impressive like how well all of these guys are playing. I don't know. I think I was going into it thinking Bradley Chubb had a really good chance, but now I think the only way he gets in there is if he does break the sack record.
That's what I was going to say so Javon Kearse has the rookie sack record at 14.5. I was also looking at Javon Kearse's sack numbers for his career, and 14.5 was the most. And like he like went from 14.5 and it just got like less and less every season. Not that I think that's going to happen to Bradley Chubb, but I thought that was just kind of interesting. But yeah, Bradley Chubb, he needs 5 sacks to break it, 4.5 to tie it because he's at 10 right now. And so I think just like the publicity that he'll get from breaking it if he can, which would be 5 sacks in 4 games, which is certainly doable, especially against when you're thinking he's playing the 49ers, the Browns. Right. So those are 2 young quarterbacks. The Raiders, which I think he's got a chance, as good a chance as any, to get a multi-sack game there. And then obviously Phillip Rivers gets the ball out quickly, but he's pretty immobile. If he is even playing in Week 17, we don't know yet. But I think he's got a decent chance. It's going to be tough, but like you said, that's the only way it happens, I think.
Yeah.
Or like a big like interception or like defensive touchdown maybe would help him.
Yeah, he needs a big play, another strip sack or 2. But I think a multi-sack game will get him, I think, maybe a little more recognition. He's competing like Darius Leonard. He's leading the league in tackles, which is one of those kind of weird stats that I don't think actually means.
Not everybody. Yeah, it really. You're absolutely right because not everybody records stats the same way. Like I think the home team actually like tallies the sack or the tackles. It's not an official stat even.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's like Ray Lewis always had like way more tackles than he actually had.
That's funny. But he has 6 sacks, which is impressive because he's a will linebacker. So he plays the inside linebacker position. And he has 4 forced fumbles, which probably even more impressive. And on those 122 tackles, however they are recorded, he only has 6 missed tackles, which is, I mean, he's just playing solid football. Mm-hmm. And if you've watched him, he makes impressive plays. But then, the Chargers safety, as we probably don't really want to admit this, Derwin James, he is, as a safety, covering players as good as a corner. Like his QB, the QB rating passing against him is like 54.9. He's got 3 interceptions, which is the same as Denzel Ward. And, he hits guys like a safety. And, like, he's been thrown at a lot. So it's not one of those situations where, like, Justin Simmons has 3 picks, but he has not had a good year.
Right.
He has been bad in coverage. And James has been thrown at a lot. And guys who have been in the league who have been thrown at just as much, if not more than James, are giving up quarterback ratings over 100 and are giving up, I think the lowest is 3 touchdowns this season, and I think he's only given up 1. So looking at their stats and knowing like they're playing well and watching them play, I just think there's it's going to be close. And I don't think you can go wrong with any of these guys, but these next 4 weeks are really, I think, what's going to determine who kind of, if any of them might separate themselves.
It feels like Van Der Esch has the best chance to win, and he's also the least deserving of the 4 we've mentioned. It really is just because, like, he's funny because he's got that neck roll, B, he looks like Thad Castle because Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State. C, like they love to talk about like how bad his high school field was back from wherever he played. So he's like just like a primetime darling, and he played well against the Eagles and the Saints the last 2 weeks, and the Cowboys have been on primetime the last 3 weeks, and so his name's just been out there.
Right. Well,
and it feels like that's criteria number one at this point.
Yeah. Who's the linebacker he plays next to?
Jalen Smith.
Yeah, that guy's good.
Yes.
Jalen Smith is really good, which I think helps Leighton Vander Esch, right? And if Sean Lee gets healthy, then all of a sudden Dallas has this really dynamic trio of linebackers on top of having a pretty good defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he probably benefits too from being on maybe – you could argue the same thing for Bradley Chubb, being on a defense that has the most talent for them to succeed. The difference with Chubb is he's competing with Miller for sacks. Like Von Miller has 14 sacks. Bradley Chubb has 10. I saw somewhere it gave him 11. So I don't know what the actual – I think Pro Football Focus gives him 11. The NFL gives him 10.
Yeah, it's not going to be official.
But Bradley Chubb would be the sack leader on like 75%.
I know.
And he's not even the sack leader on his own team. So, there's a lot of things to consider.
It feels like obviously they're not doubling him because you have Von Miller on the other side, which helps him out. But at the same time, you have to get there before Von Miller does. So
right.
It feels like it evens out.
Right. Which, Von Miller's one of the fastest guys off the snap.
Mm-hmm. So good luck. Yeah. No, but it feels like
that Chargers crew, I think Miller can get some more sacks.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like Darius Leonard is the most, I don't want to say the most impactful, but he's doing the most with the least help around him. Just because it is the Colts, and their two players that you really have to worry about on defense are basically Leonard and then Malik Hooker at safety. And I'm probably missing someone, but those feel like the biggest names on the Colts defense.
I think if you're going to give it to the guy who maybe improved the team the most, it's Darius Leonard.
Yeah, I would agree. It feels like, he probably has had the biggest impact. I don't want to say that Bradley Chubb hasn't, especially in the last few games. It's obviously big, pretty impressive, but if like you take out Bradley Chubb, the drop off from him to Shaq Barrett doesn't feel like a ton.
No, except for Shaq Barrett's hurt right now, so that would be the only thing.
Very true. Very true. You got me there.
Gotcha. Technicality.
Gotcha, bitch.
So the point is, those rookies are playing good, and they've been fun to watch.
Yeah, I'll just say it. There's a lot of good rookies this year.
There are.
And it feels kind of disappointing that the year that the Broncos have a legitimate offensive rookie and defensive rookie of the year candidate on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and they're probably both going to lose out.
Crop of rookies.
Yeah. Two things. One, I've seen a lot of people trying to argue and say Phillip Lindsay's better than Saquon Barkley. Which I kind of did it in my video, but that was more tongue in cheek because he does have the crazy impressive yards per carry, but Barkley, I think he has 74 receptions now, and a bunch of touchdowns as a receiver, and it's not Lindsay's fault he doesn't get used as much as Saquon Barkley. That's true, but because Saquon Barkley's getting used so much,
like he is.
The guy who's producing the most, it's he's a freakishly talented athlete. He hurdles somebody every week, and the number one thing that's going to get you the award is hurdling. So
playing in New York helps too.
Yeah, and that, but hurdling, mostly hurdling.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with saying that. Saquon Barkley is better right now because he probably is, and I don't think that's any slight to Phillip Lindsay whatsoever. I think Phillip Lindsay is clearly the second best running back in this class.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb coming close, but I don't think it's really any contest at this point. But at the same time, I'll say the same thing I did last week, and that's I'd rather have Phillip Lindsay for the value. And I don't think that's close at all either.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah. I would have taken Phillip Lindsay with the 7th draft pick. Still gotten great value.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's a good question. It's like, if they did a redraft, where would he go?
I don't know.
Because the first
running back all teams redrafted?
Yeah. So the first running back was Barkley at 2, and then you have to wait all the way to Rashad Penny with the Seahawks, who I think was 27th, something like that.
And then the Browns was Nick Chubb 3rd? Did the Browns take him 3rd?
Yeah, I'm not sure. No, I think I think the Patriots took Sony Michel after that.
Huh.
The other Georgia running back.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Sony. Okay. I bet. Oh man, the Patriots would love Phillip Lindsay.
He's 50% perfect for their system.
If you don't get it, we don't need to explain it.
No, if you have to ask.
I'm trying to think of who would. I mean, did the Eagles? Did they have a first round pick?
The Eagles.
I feel like he would have went late in the first or maybe early in the second. I'm just trying to think of like which teams would have taken him early. I mean,
I don't know, man. I think he would have gone
Raiders, but John Gruden likes his running backs to be like 30 years old or older.
Yeah. He likes them slow and aging, like Marshawn and C.J. Anderson.
Shit. I mean, I would have to say like you would have to consider taking him in the first round, obviously. But
no, absolutely. I think he'd go higher than you think, though, too. Okay, so let's just go through it and be like, all right, who are you taking? Who do you think like was an obvious like mistake, and like Phillip Lindsay would go over that guy? Because I think Derwin James would obviously go higher too, but like I don't think either of the. I don't know if you'd say like the Jets wouldn't redo Darnold at this point and the Cardinals wouldn't do Rosen at this point. So it's hard to like say there's been any misses right off the bat that we can tell. And same goes for Josh Allen.
I don't know. I would have to look at the draft.
I'm going to say like 15th.
That was the Raiders.
Okay. 14th.
The Saints ain't going there.
Shit. 16th.
Buffalo Bills take Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker.
Yep. I'd rather Phillip Lindsay than him.
Bills would be good, especially with LaShawn McCoy
on the way out.
You could argue the Chicago Bears.
Oh, I think they like Roquan.
Tampa Bay at 12.
Oh, yeah. No, they love him because, they have absolutely no one at running back this year. They took Ronald Jones in the second round, and I don't know if he's played.
Right. And, they took Vita Vea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very long name.
Defensive tackle at 12. So I bet he would have gone 12th.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And if the Buffalo Bills drafted Josh Allen and then got Phillip Lindsay, you'd be looking at that right now like, hey, not too bad. Yeah,
it'd just be like a contest for who can run for more yards per game.
Do you think Josh Allen's good? Do you think he's going to be good?
It's a really good question.
I go back and forth on it.
I don't know. I don't know, but he's very fun to watch.
Yeah, he is. At the very least, he's a lot faster than I thought he was.
Yeah, really. Because, you feel like if he's running for 100 yards in back-to-back games in the NFL, it's like, why didn't he do this at the Mountain West? Like, why wasn't he just, running for 200 yards a game like Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, if I knew he could run
Idaho.
If I knew he could run that much, I would have been on board with, the Broncos taking him.
And, a lot of people are, debating that last throw against the Dolphins where he spun out of pressure 3 different times and threw the ball, and then Charles Clay kind of maybe dropped it. It's a little underthrown, but at the same time, if your quarterback's going to get out of trouble like that, you should.
No, that was an extremely impressive play. I think with that, he has this cannon of an arm, and so just to see him kind of underthrow it a tiny bit is what stood out. Oh wait, Josh Allen underthrew that. But Charles Clay had a chance to catch it. Allen, I think, needs he is the definition of a guy who needs time to actually develop, but
Yeah.
you're starting to see why people were enamored by his physical tools. And it's so far, it's like kind of translating. So he's going to be an interesting player to keep your eye on.
Yeah. Yeah, you just wonder if he's going to get like a good supporting cast around him in Buffalo,
Right.
which is,
or if he'll be hurt
always
every
the
other
question.
year because of how often
That
he
too.
takes risks.
yeah, might want to take it easy on running the ball too often.
All right,
but let's do
burn through these
this game picks.
We both were shit last week, huh? 9-7.
Yeah, we're 9-7, tied. So my favorite Thursday night game of the year, every year, Jaguars at Titans.
Are they wearing them color rush?
I don't think so. I hope so, but I don't think so.
Disappointing.
Yeah, not great. But I mean the Jags got their first win in a while against the Colts last week in a 6-0 victory.
Well, the Jags defense has played well 2 weeks in a row now, so you got to assume maybe their defense is back.
Yeah, the Titans, the Jets, they kind of like snatched victory from the jaws of victory.
Yeah,
against the Jets. Like they just kept trying to hand them the game and they wouldn't take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Tennessee just because they need a win, and I feel like Jacksonville wasted all their energy beating the Colts.
I'm gonna take the Jaguars just because the Titans haven't been winning back-to-back games very often. It feels like they win, lose, win, lose, win, lose.
Fair enough.
So that seems to be the pattern. Jets at Bills. I don't know if they're going back to Sam Darnold anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll take Josh Allen in that anyway, I think.
Yeah, I'll go with the Bills at home.
Jets, very bad. Panthers at Browns. Suddenly kind of interesting.
It's a hard one to pick now.
Yeah.
Browns didn't look good.
4 in a row. Well, yeah, they really didn't look good. Baker Mayfield threw 3 picks in the first half, but then kind of turned things around in the second half.
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe he's got a little momentum against a really good team, too, in Houston.
Yeah, no, that's true.
In Cleveland.
Yeah. I'm going to pick the Panthers. I keep picking them and I'm wrong, but I got to be right at some point. Well, they lost Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen's done.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers, too, though.
All right.
Falcons at Packers. Yikes.
Packers are actually 5-point favorites.
This is just a matchup of the two most disappointing teams.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to pick the Packers, but only because they fired Mike McCarthy. And when head coaches get fired for whatever reason, the team, I feel like, always plays good that 1 week following.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Packers, too. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to actually start trying now. Colts at Texans.
Oh, man. I want the Colts, but I don't want the Colts because it helps the
We don't want
Broncos.
the Colts, actually.
So give me the Texans.
Yeah, I'll take the Texans as well.
They're on a 9-game win streak.
This would be 10 in a row for them after starting.
That's crazy.
3, which is pretty wild. Ravens at Chiefs.
Ooh.
A very interesting game. So we got Lamar Jackson going against Patrick Mahomes.
Are they sticking with Lamar?
I think for the time being. I don't think anything's official.
Okay.
Yeah, from everything I've heard.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 2 radically different styles.
Yeah.
It could be like a low-scoring game where the Ravens kind of edge them out at the end, or it could be like 45-10 Chiefs.
No, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game because I think the Chiefs' defense is that bad.
Interesting. I mean, Lamar Jackson hasn't been good, really, but he's like also like he's helped the running game. So it's really hard to say whether he's been like a net positive or what's the deal. But
give me the Ravens in an upset.
Okay. This is also a game that we should root for the Chiefs. As bad as that sounds.
Should?
Yeah. Because the Broncos need the Ravens to lose 2 more times.
And we don't want the Patriots to be the top seeded team in the AFC.
No, definitely not.
I still think the Ravens are going to win.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. Patriots at Dolphins. Just talked about them. This seems to be the place that Patriots play their worst football every year. Who knows why?
Give me the Patriots.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the Patriots too.
3 of their 4 last games. Dolphins, Jets, Bills. Fuck you, New England.
Nah, it's
like strolling into the playoffs.
Man.
Steelers could beat them, but I doubt it.
Yeah, we say that every year. Saints at Buccaneers, a rematch.
Yeah.
Of the Week 1 upset where the Buccaneers defeated the New Orleans Saints with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
You know,
this one's in Tampa.
If the Saints didn't just lose to the Cowboys, I would pick the Bucs in an upset because they've been playing better football for whatever reason. But I think the Saints bounce back, get a win.
Yeah, I agree. I made this point earlier, I think in one of the videos, but do the Buccaneers really want to keep winning? Is that something they want to do?
No, I don't know.
I don't think so. They feel like a team where if everything goes right, they can win 9 games. And I don't know if I want to. I just move on from the coach and the quarterback.
Oh yeah, they definitely got to do that.
If I were them, but again, if they beat the Saints, they probably won't. So you got to think about the long term in this situation. Giants at Redskins. This is a classic Eli Manning, Mark Sanchez game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Giants here.
I'm gonna take the Redskins.
Idiot.
I don't know why.
Idiot.
I don't know. I think Sanchez just has one more handoff.
One more win in him.
One more handoff. Also, I don't want to pick the same teams as you. Bengals, Jeff Driscoll at the Los Angeles San Diego Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. What did you think about Jeff Driscoll last week? It didn't feel like he played terribly.
No, he sucked. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see anything where I thought, oh, God, that guy might be good one day.
No, I don't think he did either. I just think given the circumstances that he lost A.J. Green a quarter into the game.
Yeah. He looked like Case Keenum.
Fair.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
No?
It kind of hurt.
Well, that one stings.
How far are you in Red Dead Redemption?
I don't know, 30% of the way?
You got to tell me a specific point. That means nothing to me.
I just drowned that kid.
Sure.
We talked about it last time.
Right. Well, okay, not to give anything away. There's another drowning. There's another drowning in the game at some point. So.
Oh. Yeah. I'll have to think about it.
Okay. Lions at Cardinals.
Ooh.
Feels like a really bad game.
Yeah. Lions, I guess. I'll pick a road team here.
I'll take the Cardinals. They're coming off of the biggest win of the Josh Rosen era, in which he played very mediocre. Yeah, maybe why not? Sure. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? You took Detroit?
Yeah.
Okay. Eagles at Cowboys. Shocked that this isn't on Sunday Night Football. There's still time for them to flex it, I think. They might make this Sunday night and Monday night. Just play it twice.
Yeah. They're not going to flex out the Rams-Bears, though.
Famous last words.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cowboys. The Eagles got a win over Washington, but Washington lost their backup quarterback for Mark Sanchez. And the Eagles weren't playing great, really, until that happened. So,
yeah. I think now that this feels like a classic Cowboys loss.
No, it does.
Beating the best team in the NFL. And then a division rival comes into their house. They're feeling very, very good about themselves. And they poop the bed. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Because remember, I picked the Cowboys last week to beat the Saints.
Yeah.
I've got
pick of the
Cowboy
week.
Radar. Yeah.
Pick of the week.
It's my lock of the week. Lock it up. Yeah. I know I'm always one step ahead with this team. So
I hope you're right.
I'm taking the Eagles. You're taking Dallas. Steelers or Raiders?
Steelers.
Steelers traditionally don't play well against the Raiders.
I don't care about traditions.
You should. But I'm going to take
the Raiders. The Raiders have been more competitive the last 2 weeks too.
They were very competitive against the Chiefs
and the Chargers, but I'm taking the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going to do that too.
They got to get right. They're staring death in the face right now.
Yeah, there's still a chance they could miss out on the playoffs altogether.
Yeah.
Rams at Bears seems to be the best game of the week.
Is Trubisky playing?
It looks like there's like a 95% chance he's going to play. That's what he said. Not exact words, but like
Chicago Bears. Mitchell Trubisky says he expects to play against the Rams. Okay. Well, it's crazy, but I think Trubisky is a big part of their success. And that's why I'm taking the Rams to beat the
Bears. You know what? I'll take the home team.
Yeah, the Bears defense struggled a little last week too. So maybe this is a bounce back game for them. But
yeah, maybe. It also feels like the Rams just have another loss in them at some point. Like it's so hard to go 15-1.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will. You're taking the Rams, last game of the week. Pretty good. I also feel like we've seen the Vikings way too much this season.
Yeah.
Vikings at Seahawks on Monday Night Football.
Disappointing. Give me the Seahawks.
Yeah. No, this one feels not easy, but like it just – I don't have any confidence in the Vikings.
Yeah, they weren't competitive enough against the Patriots for me to think they can go beat the Seahawks at home.
Yeah, the only person that cared about the game was Adam Thielen.
That's right. Yelling right at Bill Belichick.
My hero.
I want to see somebody do that to Belichick every week.
Yes. I hate the douchebag Patriot supporter after the game. Oh, you just exchanging some holiday pleasantries with Adam Thielen on the field, and then Bill Belichick's like, yes.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's so funny. Shut up.
What did Adam Thielen tell you? Exactly how did he tell you to fuck off? Can you answer that for me?
Yeah, we're on to.
I would never have the balls to ask Belichick a question like that, though. So
we're on to the Dolphins.
We're on to fucking your life up if you ever ask me a question like that again.
All right, I can have you killed easily, and I will.
Bill Belichick's graveyard of sports journalists is deep.
Yo, believe you me, I've lost a few friends. Gone missing. They're buried. They're buried underneath Gillette Stadium.
That's where he keeps them.
The 50-yard line.
We did it, Bill.
I think that's it for today.
Let's thank ourselves for making it through another podcast. Appreciate everybody who listens to the whole fucking thing, all 19 of you. Sorry, that's inflated. It's 8.5. But yeah, we'll be back next Thursday. And let's see if the Broncos can win without their star players.
Yeah, let's do it.
Bye.
See ya.